When using linear equations in the coordinate plane, we have to make sure that we're setting up our coordinate plane the way they ask us to. Now, normally with these, you won't end up with negative numbers, so you can really just work in the first quadrant. So I'm going to pay attention to what they say. First thing they do is they give this equation for the relationship between the time and the wages. The time is obviously the independent, and the wage is dependent because I can't know how much I'm going to make unless I know how much I work. Then I'm going to pay attention to what they say as far as setting up our coordinates. They say use 2 units on the horizontal axis per hour, and they say use 2 units on the vertical to represent 8. So when I set up my coordinate plane, I'm going to set it up with my x-axis here. That's my independent, so I'm going to call that H for hours. And then this way, I'm going to call this W for wages. And I know that every 2 units on the horizontal should be an hour. So here's 1 hour, 2 hours, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And they say that every 2 on the other side should be 8. So this is 8, 16, 24, 32, and 40. And this represents time. This represents wages. I'm going to put the points on that I know. They gave me a point at 0, 0, so I can put that right there. They gave me a point at 1, 8, so I can put that there. And I'm going to create my line off of that. Now, I don't have the other points, but setting up the line might help me figure out the points. Okay. Now, let me check these other ones out. 2, when I look at 2, it looks like it matches up with 16. So I can write in 16 here. It looks like 3 matches up with 24. And I sort of see what's happening here. It's just like it was set up here, just to do it by 8s, 24, 32, and 40. So I actually have all these points along the way that sort of match up with what I was expecting anyway. They say, what's her wage for 3.5 hours? Well, I'm just going to find my way. Here's 1, 2, 3.5. Find my way up here. It looks like it's halfway between 24 and 32. So it looks like it's $28, I guess. How long must Shannon work in order to earn $40? Let me find $40. $40 are here. And that looks like it's 5 hours. They said she's worked 5 hours, then continues for another 3 hours. So how much is she earn? So we're talking 8 hours now. 8 hours. And this isn't on here. But I know that W equals 8 times H. And they just told me that the H is 8. I know 8 times 8. Well, that's going to be 64. $64. And then the last one, she wants to earn at least 20. So let me find 20 on here. It looks like 20 is right here, which puts it at 2.5. So at least $20. So for her to have at least $20, how many hours is that? The hours look like they're 2.5, but it's at least. So it can be 2.5, but it also be more than 2.5. So that describes the inequality. For this one, you can set up the inequality. You can pause it here, and we'll see how it's going to look once it's all set up. Then we can use it to answer questions. So this is how I've set it up, at least to get my points on here. So I'm going to continue my line. Looks something like that. And it looks like 2 matches up with 8, and 3 matches up with 10, and 4 matches up with 12, and 14, and so on. That keeps going on forever. I also labeled my horizontal axis, every 2 is worth 1, and on my vertical axis, every 1 is worth 2. So I set it up just the way they asked. I also know up here that C is equal to 2 times the time plus 4. And if I picked anything up here and tried it, like let's say, try this. If the time is 3, 2 times 3 is 6, plus 4 more is 10, it checks out with that one. So now I'm going to go and answer some of these questions. They say rental fee for the book is $12. So let me find $12. Here it is, right here. It looks like it matches up with 4 hours. I could check it too. If I plug 4 hours in, 2 times 4 is 8, plus 4 more is 12. Yep, that works. It says Michelle borrowed the book for 5 weeks and then another 4 weeks. So what's the entire fee? So I know that we're looking at 9 hours. So I'm going to have to then plug this in here because I don't see it on my graph. If I made a bigger graph, it could fit, but I don't see it on my graph. 2 times 9 is 18, plus 4 more is 22. It looks like it's $22. She's going to keep it for 9 hours. Then it said she paid less than $10. So let me find $10 on here first. Here's 10. All right, looks like that goes with 3. All right, so the amount of time she's got to spend is going to relate to 3. She paid less than $10. So maybe she did exactly 3, but maybe she did less than 3 for the amount of time. So it looks like 3 hours worth. She had to do at least 3 hours or maybe less for it to be $10.